What's up, everyone? Welcome back to episode 2 of She Builds Beyond. I'm so excited for this episode because I get to talk about Japan, which was amazing, but I'm going to tie it into a little learning experience for you all. So, this past February, I went to Japan with my husband, and we had the best time ever. I think about Japan every day. The post Japan depression is real. You will see it on TikTok. When people come back from Japan, they are depressed because they want to go back. That's me every single day. It was amazing, but specifically, something that really stands out to me is I was in Kyoto, which was my favorite place that I visited in Japan. And we went to a bar. There's lots of bars everywhere, but we went to a bar 3 times because we loved it so much. It was small, it was quaint. A lot of the bars there are pretty small. They might have like 10 chairs, right? So sometimes you can't get into bars there because it's very small, or you're very packed, you're close packed, right? You're sitting next to someone, you're making friends with strangers at the end of the day. So we went to a bar and there wasn't a menu. And I like to sometimes have options, but the bartender was so nice. He was like, "What do you like? What do you don't like? What ingredients do you like? If you're going to a bar, what do you normally order? Give me like your top 5 drinks, etc." And I was like, "Okay." And I was like nervous because I was like, what if he makes me something that I don't like? He even asked, like, "Do you like ice in your drinks? Do you drink them neat?" Like things like that. And I was nervous because I'm putting all this trust into this man. And he made us iconic drinks, slayed every drink. I mean, literally, he even went, my husband was like, "I like bourbon. I like bananas. I like chocolate." He literally walked out the bar, went down the street to the market, got a banana for my husband to make a drink. No joke. And it was literally the best bourbon banana chocolate drink I've ever had. He left the bar, went to the market, bought a banana to make my husband a drink. I mean, you can't, no joke, no joke. How insane was that? So, yeah, we went back 2 more times after that because iconic. Like, you just can't not go back. And it got me thinking. It really got me thinking. So, obviously, we're dealing with a mixologist here. Insane, amazing, can make every drink custom to you. Awesome, right? And it really stood out to me because I was like, this is like a really top-notch experience for a random bar that we just stumbled across in Kyoto. We didn't know where to go. I mean, we were looking at all these bars. We obviously did research beforehand, but we just were walking on the street. We're like, let's go in here. This is random. Best experience of our life, right? And it wasn't really about the options because there wasn't options at the menu. It was this mixologist curated such an amazing experience for us. And it taught me a lot about personal branding and building a community online and curating an experience, right? I fully trusted him. He was nice, attentive. We told stories to each other. He talked to everyone at the bar. He was really building that community and culture. And that is what really great personal brands do. He didn't explain the process. He didn't lead with his credentials. Had no menu, right? He had a really great experience. He listened, he curated, he responded, he asked questions, he did his market research, right? The experience was part of his brand. And I think it really got my attention. Most brands and most founders online lead with what they do, right? And no, not a lot of brands lead with how they want you to feel at the end of the day, because we've been taught you need to get so specific. And I actually think clarity is overrated sometimes. Being specific is overrated sometimes because we've been taught. The amount of times I've been on a call with a mentor in the past and they're like, "You need to get more specific. You need to get more specific. You need to get more specific." And it never really worked because the more specific I got, the more unaligned I got. I just needed to know how to articulate everything that I wanted my brand to be. And that didn't start with my offer messaging. It started with my entire brand and identity overall, right? And I think that at the end of the day, when it comes to curating an experience with how you want your customers to feel, it doesn't start with your offers. It doesn't start with what you do. It starts with you, and it starts with your identity and getting clear. I feel like there's a lot of misalignment online of what people are selling and what they do and who they are and the way they want to build a brand. There's a misalignment there. So maybe their offers aren't selling. They're not growing their audience. They're struggling with making sales, and they think it's their offer messaging. They think it's the specific I help statement, the offer messaging, the sales page, when in reality, it could be a disconnect with the brand, the identity, the experience that you're creating, who you are, how you want people to feel, just because some people don't want to go back to the basics. And you got to, right? Why do people not really come back to most brands? And I talked about this in the past of like, and I did a reel on this the other day about my Japan experience, but I kept coming back to this bar. Like I kept coming back. I walked in and I kept coming back, right? Like people are going to follow you online. They're going to follow you, but are they going to engage and be a part of your community? How are you going to get people to come back, right? And I want to first talk about why. Why are people coming back? Why are people maybe following you but not staying? Why are people following you but not buying? And it's not your picture perfect offer messaging. It could be something deeper. So you could almost be unforgettable in a way. They follow you for one post, but they don't know who you are. All you're doing is posting tons of business content, tons of offer content. People don't know who you are. You're posting content that's helpful, but it's not deep. There's a lack of storytelling. There's a lack of perspectives. It's a lot of mean girl marketing, a lot of call outs, but there's nothing deeper than that, right? You have a lot of offers, but there's a misalignment with your brand and people can feel that energy, right? That's going to happen. Energy is a big thing, right? People will follow you and they'll leave because they don't feel that resonance with you. And that resonance is how you're going to get people to stay. They follow you for something. They're like, "Ooh, yeah, this is entertaining. I learned something from this. That's a good perspective." But they're staying because of you and who you are, not just what you do and who you help, right? So I came back to the bar. He remembered my preferences. He adjusted. He made me another amazing drink. And each time it felt familiar, but it also felt new. It felt repeatable, but it felt a little bit more deeper. It felt more fun. And we were sad to leave the last time because we were leaving Kyoto, right? You want people to not only just follow you, but you want to get people to stay. And it's not like because of the best educational content or having the best offer messaging online or posting like the hottest, spiciest, problem-aware content. People are going to stay because they resonate with some part of you, your story, your conversations, your perspective, your positioning, right? A lot of people are focusing on visibility, which is so important. I'm a big visibility person. You need to be growing. You need to be growing your brand. But a lot of people are just focusing on that and not getting people to stay. You got to do both, right? Your visibility is going to capture attention. It's going to be entertaining. It's going to get people to click follow. But for people to stay and purchase from you, they're going to need something a little bit deeper, whether that's a story, a perspective, a shift of perspective, a point of view, some type of vulnerability, some type of consistent series, something that's going to get people to stay. It's familiar, but it's new. And that's exactly how you're going to curate and experience a brand ecosystem, a brand world. It's not just getting people to walk into your bar. It's getting people to stay because of that experience that you're curating. And that doesn't come from just one post. It comes from your overarching content strategy of how you're not only getting people to follow you, but you're getting people to stay and you're creating that experience, right? Because getting attention is one thing, but getting people to come back is a completely different skill. Getting people to stay is a completely different skill, and you need both. You need to know how to get people to you and to get people to stay, right? And when I went to that Japan bar, it really clicked for me of like curating an experience, right? It's about continuity. It's about feeling understood. It's about resonating. It's about curating that experience. It's about repetition, but new things sprinkled in. It's to feel personal. And I think that's a huge thing with curating an experience online, right? Because a personal brand is just not personal, right? A personal brand is not just personal. It's also being community led. And that is a different point of view with personal brands. Personal brands isn't just you posting your lifestyle content, what you're doing for the day. It goes way, 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 way deeper. And it goes deep into your brand identity. It goes from start one, right? That's why I have people who come inside my programs and work with me. And after they work with me, they want to shift a lot because I'm like, you didn't do the identity work. You didn't do the beginning stages of the brand work. You picked a niche and you moved the fuck on. And that's why you feel stuck. And that's why you feel a little all over the place. That's why you feel bored because you literally closed your eyes and went through a list and pick, okay, this is what I'm going to do out of everything that you're good at. I'm going to do this. And then you realize, oh shit, I don't want to do that. Well, it worked. So should I keep going or should I shift things up? And a lot of people who come and work with me, I'm like, okay, yeah, we need to go back to the brand identity work. We need to figure out how you're going to build a personal brand that holds everything. You got to get better at your positioning. We have to start curating an experience. We got to go more deep, right? Because you can't just, oh, I'm good at all these different things. Eeny, meeny, miny, mo. Pick, that's my niche. That's my I help statement. That's who I help. That's not going to work. It might work for a little bit, but you're going to get bored real quick. And it ain't going to be fun. Okay. So let's talk about how you can take my experience from Japan and work with it in your personal brand, right? The first thing, you need to stop asking, what should I post? And start asking, what do my people already trust me with? What patterns are people coming to me with? What questions are people asking me? What are people coming to me for, right? Like, your conversations with your community, the reason people are hiring you, your intake forms, what people are saving is a really great market research to what to curate that experience around, right? Which is really, really big. Pay attention. Don't just be like, what do I post? ChatGPT, what do I post today? What are patterns? You need to understand and read patterns. Number 2, build repetition on purpose. Repeat your core themes and core message. Understand what your signature point of views are and start repeating those. Like my POV, you don't need a niche, you need a personal brand. You can be known for multiple things. I have perspectives online that help me grow my brand, right? Tons of people are in the business world, teach very similar things to what I do, but I come at it from a multi-passionate lens. I have a completely different perspective. Personality driven content is going to be big, adding in like not even like small things like, are you direct, like being direct in your videos, like you get what you get at the end of the day. So repeating core themes, right? Signature point of views, creating content that's going to start conversations, taking conversations and creating content from them, right? Storytelling is big. Storytelling is going to lead, telling stories. That's how you're going to create that experience and build that memorable brand with your audience. And number 3, curate and not performing, right? You don't need to show your whole lifestyle to be a leader. You don't have to do all of that, right? Speak up on conversations, share your beliefs, share your perspectives, create a brand that's a content that's really aligned with you. You want to do face to cam content, do that. You don't want to do fucking carousels, don't do that. You want to go on TikTok, do that. Build a brand that every piece of content is really aligned for you, right? I think that when it comes to long-term sustainable brands that people are going to consistently come back for, right? They're going to follow you and come back for. They're obviously going to binge your content, but they're going to stay, is the conversations that you're having, being willing to speak up and be vulnerable, sharing your stories, and having a really unique, great point of view. That's going to get people to stay, right? It's not about your amazing educational content. It's not about how in-depth you do problem aware. Cool, that can get you a high-ticket client, but I'm talking about a sustainable brand that's going to get people to stay over time, be repeat customers, etc., right? You have to understand how to generate those conversations, share your stories, have a POV, etc. It's not about the education and problem aware. That can be important. There's a time and place. It's about that deeper led content because it's going to compound that trust with your audience and it's going to have them be loyal at the end of the day, right? So you're going to have the visibility to get people to come in, but it's all about getting them to stay at the end of the day. And the bar, like at the end of the day, when I went to that Japan bar, it wasn't just about being memorable, right? I came back because of that experience, the trust, the attention to detail, the chatting, the him asking me questions, the customization, right? That's how they generated an experience. I want to ask you, what type of experience do you want to create with your brand? That's the biggest question that I want you to think about from this episode. All right. I'll see you on the next episode. Bye.